The first episode opens up with the narrator, stating that since magic was given to humans by God, the world is full of magic. At all ages, humans employ magic for a variety of purposes. However, he says that individuals without magic are executed because they are not acceptable by society, and that this ensures that the world only retains people who are deserving of magic. We then are introduced to Mashle, doing his morning routine exercises with an inhuman amount of weight, at an extremely fast pace without even breaking a sweat. We learn that Mashle is unmarked. Despite the intense exercise that he has performed, he has no magic in him, and is only capable of physical strength. When Mashle heads home, he does not remember whether he should pull or push the door, so he ends up breaking it, upsetting his father, Burned. His father scolds him about ripping the door off its hinges. After Mashle apologizes, he forgives him, calling him an amenable child. Mashle questions his father on why all of his trainings consist of physical strength and endurance, to which his father dodges the question, informing him that he has to go to the city to attend a business. Before leaving, Regro gives Mashle the strict instruction to never enter the city without him. Shortly after his father has left the house, Mashle is seen venturing into the city to acquire some special goblin cream puffs. When Mashle purchases the cream puffs, the wind unveils his hood, revealing his face to everyone around him. People are amazed that an unmarked man is still alive, let alone be present in the heart of the city, surrounded by people. In another scene, we are introduced to a guy named Brad Coleman, the chief of the Bureau of Investigation and a member of the police special forces. Receiving a report regarding an unmarked individual wandering around the city. Just when Mashle is confronted by Brad about his whereabouts, his father jumps in, carrying Mashle away from everyone, escaping into the deep forest. After arriving home, Mashle's father scolds him for not obeying his order to stay at home, to which he apologizes. Regro punishes Mashle by making him undertake additional physical exercises. Regro understands that it's only a matter of time before the government will send people to go after them. Moments later, he is attacked by the police, with Brad Coleman as the leader of this mission. When Regro is inquired about his son, he stays silent. Even after being bashed and beaten to the ground, he refuses to give them the location of his boy. We are then presented the narrative of Regro, who is regarded as a good-for-nothing, exalted from his family, friends, school, employment, and is deemed a human waste that no one needs. A newborn scream is heard just as Regro is ready to end his life. When he walks over to investigate, we find out the baby is Mashle. He realizes that the baby has been abandoned since he is unmarked. He resolves to care for this infant, giving him a purpose to live, as the baby is the only one who not only appears to like him, but also needs him. Brad chastises Regro for harboring an unmarked, reminding him that individuals who lack magical abilities should be executed for the better welfare of society. Brad warns him of the penalties that will follow if he refuses to cooperate. Just as Brad is ready to unleash another attack, Mashle breaks through the door, hitting one of the policemen in the face, sending him flying through the wall into the forest. Brad is not having it, and decides to launch an assault on Mashle, employing a powerful magical spell that Mashle effortlessly blocks by slapping it away. Brad then proceeds to launch multiple powerful attacks that Mashle easily counters by juggling with them. Mashle picks up a wand and throws it at Brad, cutting his cheek, making Brad realize that he is no match for Mashle. When Brad is defeated, he strikes a deal with Mashle, instructing him to enroll in the magical school and become the chosen one in order to live happily ever after with his father. Brad warns him that if he refuses, he will be pursued for the rest of his life. Mashle agrees, announcing himself to be the future world's strongest wizard. Right after their encounter is over, Mashle is sent to the Easton Magic Academy, a prestigious school, from which emerges powerful as well as talented mages all around the world. Mashle participates in the admissions examination program, which around 3% of people pass, allowing only the most outstanding mages with exceptional magical powers to attend the academy. Claude Lucci, a school representative, is observing the scenery from inside the school, when he suddenly sees Mashle doing a set of repetitions as a warm-up. Lucci wonders why would anyone use physical exercise as a warm-up for a magical school, even questioning whether what he is seeing is real, or just a figment of his imagination. Lucci uses his magic to teleport into the field, announcing the beginning of the entrance exam. The first task consists of deciphering a message written with magical words that are continuously moving, due to Lucci enhancing the paper with his own magic. Mash breaks the plume, ordering the words to quit moving, which dispels the magic enhancement immediately. Mash then passes each test at ease, upsetting Lucci, who wanted to get rid of him. Lucci summons a gigantic maze, which contains numerous traps, declaring that whoever manages to get to the goal area within the time limit will be admitted into the school. Lemon Irvine, a participant of the exam admission program, kindly asks if she could join Mash during this exam, to which he does not mind, and lets her tag along. After wandering around inside the maze, setting off all sorts of traps, Irvine uses her magic to cuff Mash, telling him that she was ordered to hinder his progress by someone. Mash informs her that he cannot fail this exam. Mash breaks the metal cuffs, escaping Irvine's grasp. A giant monster appears out of nowhere in front of Irvine, demanding to answer his riddle. When she is unable to do so, the monster launches an attack on her. Just as the monster is about to strike Irvine, Mash knocks the monster unconscious with a single punch. Mash then realizes that they do not have much time left, and decides to tear down the walls of the maze in order to reach the finish line in time. Lucci cannot believe his eyes, wondering how Mash is able to tear down those walls which have been infused with his magic. Students question whether he's allowed to do so, or if he should be failing, due to his actions being considered as cheating. Irvine explains to the students why Mash had to do so, revealing that Lucci was the one who instructed her to slow down Mash, in order for her to be accepted into the school. Lucci is upset, and angrily winds up a spell to attack Irvine. Right when he attempts to launch his spell, Mash intervenes immediately, breaking his wand into pieces. The headmaster of the academy appears in the sky, ordering Lucci to be seen in his office after the admission exam is over. The headmaster uses his magic to teleport Mash into an interview which consists of multiple high-ranking members of the academy. The headmaster summons a monster, informing Mash of the fact that this entity will take the target's most cherished soul to put it inside a doll, in order to kill it. Mash tries to break down the spell by punching it, but it does not work. Mash then puts his hand under the monster's weapon, preventing it from reaching the doll. The headmaster acknowledges Mash's qualities as a future magician, accepting him as a student inside the academy. When the headmaster questions him what he would do if he were to be in a real situation such as this, Mash responds by saying that he would punch him to death. The headmaster is amused by this answer, leaving Mash to head over to his first class. Once class is over, Mash introduces himself to his dorm roommate, named Finn Ames, sharing a cream puff with him. Mash asks about how students can become the divine visionary, which Finn explains that by collecting a certain amount of gold coins, as well as continuously performing at a high level in all fields around the academy, one will inherit the divine visionary title. The following scene shows Mash competing in a broom flying contest with other students, who are prepping their brooms for a race against each other. Mash's attempt to fly his broom to him fails, since he lacks magical power. Mash is then approached by a student who mocks him for not being able to summon his broom. Mash slams the ground, causing the broom to fall into his hands. The student then decides to challenge Mash to a race, which Mash accepts. As soon as the teacher gives the green light, Mash is instantly at the finish line already. Everyone is shocked, with the teacher even announcing that a new world record has been set by Mash. Mash was able to do this by launching the broom first, then proceeding to jump towards it at high speeds, and landing on top of it right before crossing the finish line. A student named Lloyd Cavell walks towards Mash, giving him a time to meet up after class, but Mash completely forgets about it while making cream puffs, which leads to Cavell being irritated. Mash asks Finn as to why everyone is terrified of Cavell. Finn informs him that Cavell is the son of a high-ranking official of the Bureau of Magic, and that the vice principal is keeping a close eye on him in case something happens. He warns Mash to not go against Cavell, as that would result in Mash's expulsion from the academy. Later in class, Cavell informs Mash of his high status, letting him know that he is capable of writing a good word for him in the Bureau of Magic if he obeys him. Mash does not think much of it, and agrees. Mash is naive, and takes on a multitude of tasks that were demanded by Cavil, thinking of it as a favor, which Cavil will return by writing a notice to the Bureau of Magic. Despite the fact that his textbooks are brand new, Mash finds that they are always ripped. So he asks Finn if he may join him for a lecture. When Finn tries to decline, Mash sits with Finn, thanking him for being such an amazing guy, for lending him a broom, teaching him about the school, and always being there for him. In the next scene, we see Cavil ordering Finn to burn Mash's clothing as he is weary of destroying his textbooks. Finn refuses, stating that Mash is his friend and that he no longer intends to harm him. When Cavil begins torturing Finn for defying him, Mash arrives, landing a hand to Finn's weeping shoulder. Finn apologizes to Mash for shredding his textbooks and explains everything to him. Mash then bashes Cavil's head into the ground, knocking him unconscious. The vice principal appears in front of Mash, announcing that Mash will be expelled from the institution for attacking Cavil. Mash starts burying the vice principal alive, saying that since the vice principal can expel him at any time, Mash can likewise bury him at any given moment. Mash is being chastised by the headmaster for his conduct following the incident. The headmaster shows Mash a notification from the Bureau of Magic, detailing that Mash is a risk to the academy and must be expelled. The headmaster, however, does not like the Bureau of Magic taking advantage of their high status, making people's lives miserable with their authority. So he instructs Mash to be the divine visionary, in order to change how things work at the Bureau of Magic, as he has faith in him. He makes Mash realize that he must be cautious from now on, warning him of the upcoming challenges. Mash thanks the headmaster, and exits the hall. The next day, Mash is invited by Tom Knowles to join his team in a sport called the Duello. Tom is the MVP of last season Duello, which is a sport that consists of students flying in a broom, while scoring in the enemy's goal with a ball. Mash attempts to decline the offer, but Tom is even more dense of a person than Mash. So Mash is forced to accept the invitation. Once the match begins, we see Mash standing with his broom, not being able to participate in the match, as his teammates are getting worked on by the enemy team, making his team fall behind by 30 points. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like to the video, and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it a lot. I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing day.